All right, I'm here with Mr. Vinny. Vinny, tell the people how much weight you lost and how long you've been able to maintain that new range since the original program.
Yeah, so I lost 50 pounds from my peak, and I've been maintaining that I finished the first phase 2.5 years ago.
Dude, that is freaking awesome. That is freaking awesome. Yeah, man. For the people who don't know, you're a legend, and you crushed that original phase of DK and saw incredible results. But I wanted to talk to you about like, okay, what was the process of maintaining that really long term, right? So I guess like with this whole thing, kind of talk me through what you were struggling with before working with us, and then like what was the actual issue you were looking to solve before starting.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm Italian. We like to eat good. We like to eat a lot of carbs, and I just never realized how much I was truly eating until I started tracking it. I started to learn more about from Default Kings, just like proteins and like the macro breakdown. And I would eat all these breads and all this stuff, like not think twice. Like, oh, I'm not eating that bad. I'm eating my fruit. I'm eating, salad, but like I was eating all these extra calories, like without even realizing it. There's a lot of sneaky things with the oils and peanut butter and stuff like that. That most people don't even think twice about. So definitely was just overeating, not as active as I could have been, or at least not consistently.
Mhm.
And then I would say like what really helped me, like the two things were just establishing new habits, going through the 3 months and like that being long enough to really make it click, make it
Mhm.
stick, to stick with it. Because I had definitely done other diets and stuff and gone in workout routines, but it's like you do it for a week, then you're off a week, you get sick, you're just not being consistent long enough to really build the habit.
Mhm.
So yeah, I would say it was just a lack of knowledge on you know, what I should be eating and then like getting the understanding of like how important it is to eat more protein and
Mhm.
measuring like if you're eating the right amount of protein for your body weight, like you don't feel hungry, like you're satiated, you've eaten real food that keeps you full, and like you're not just eating like empty calories that don't satiate you.
Yeah. Dude, yeah, it's so interesting like how simple some of these things are, but it's like when we don't understand them, we're stuck. And then when we do understand them, it's like, oh, this is it's, it almost sounds like obvious looking back. But yeah, that's so cool. I guess like when you first started and kind of that original conversation is starting to come back to me now just as we're catching up. But what was it that you were specifically looking to change about where you were when you first started?
Yeah, I think for me it was more like even though I was overweight, I think it was just more mental, like mindset work that I needed at the time. And it's all connected because obviously exercising and eating right, you feel a lot better about yourself. And yeah, so it was just like my energy levels, like not feeling like motivated. I'm like kind of struggling, it just was like dealing with a lot at the time, and definitely wasn't, you know, getting the right fuel source, really to kind of sustain me to get through all this work. So yeah, I would say it was like a lot of mental stuff, honestly, more so. That was what I had hoped to get out of it, which I got more than I could have ever imagined. And then like losing the weight was almost just like the cherry on top.
Dude, that's so cool. That's something that I hope and pray that like everybody understands when they go through a process like this is like, yeah, I know you came for the weight loss. I know. But that's going to be, number five or whatever on list of benefits or even lower on the list of benefits. But yeah, in regards to like the mindset side of things, what do you feel like we did to help you specifically solve like that side of the equation?
Yeah, I think it was a lot of things. I think a big part is definitely just getting in the right room of people who push you, and then having daily calls where like you're around this energy. This energy is infectious. Like you
Mm,
can't help but just like pick up things, and like it does start to make these small changes, small little decisions here and there that start to add up. Because I think just personally, I just had never really had that in my life. Like I didn't
Mm.
really have like, the role model, like the really fit person who like pushed me. Um, yeah, so just like getting in the room, whether it was the calls, whether it was the trips, or just working with, Chris and the other coaches, just like getting that one-on-one, having someone daily checking in, keeping me accountable, making it so like I couldn't slack off. It's like, if I missed a workout, like I always like to tell this story about Gabe early on. I remember I went on like a trip, visiting a friend for the weekend, and I totally like didn't log anything, didn't do my workouts. I get this message from Gabe. He's like, Vinny, are you okay? Like you haven't logged anything. What's going on? You're good? And I was just like, oh man, like I really gotta, I can't let this guy down. Like I gotta stick with this. Cause yeah, like that's a perfect example. It's like you start traveling and you start falling off the horse, but having someone to really, keep you, consistent and like long enough, 3, 4 weeks in, like you're starting to cement these habits, and then you do 3 months, and it's like, okay, like now you're talking like lifestyle change that's lasting.
That is so awesome, man. That is so awesome to hear. And yeah, I remember some of those moments. And I feel like some of those things we kind of go a little bit like over the top on. You're like, are you okay? Is everything okay? But that's awesome, man. Dude, that's so cool. So yeah, I guess talk to me a little bit more specifically about obviously when you first signed up, like that wasn't the first attempt at trying to have that habit change take place, right? But what did you try before that like didn't really, I guess, stick long term?
Yeah, I guess just various. Sorry if you can hear
Oh,
my
you're
dogs
good.
barking. Just various like diets, things like intermittent fasting, not eating for 16 hours and then eating whatever you want for 8 hours, like doesn't really work. Just like fad things like that. And then, I'd always been like athletic, like I played sports, but, once I got out of like college, like
Mhm.
working and commuting, just kind of like not getting enough movement in, not exercising as much as I should have been, or at least not consistently. So yeah, just like I guess what everyone does, just trying to do it yourself. The workouts, you get a diet online, and it just falls apart.
Yeah, no, I totally get that. I totally get that, man. That's, I guess, par for the course, right? But yeah, I guess like why do you feel like what we did specifically worked instead of, those things? Like what was, I guess, the linchpin?
Yeah, I would say the combination, like definitely the accountability that you're getting. Like I said, just like the daily calls and just having these check-ins to just kind of like keep you on it, and then also just like the educational side of like what works, like how
Mm.
many calories are really in these foods. Like when you start really tracking it and having someone, making sure that you're tracking everything you're eating, just very eye opening. It's like you can eat a lot of things with, that are high protein and you feel full and it's not that many calories, or you can eat 5,000 calories of junk and like still not feel, full. So just that was very eye opening for sure.
That makes so much sense. Yeah. Okay, so I know we kind of caught up on life before this and just the incredible journey that God has taken you on since we first met. Um, so there's so much we can get into here, but what I'm curious about is like apart from just the number on the scale coming down and being able to maintain that, like what has been the overall like life impact of working with us?
Yeah. Yeah, I would say definitely just like more confidence in myself, just like more energy, more like moving more into being a leader, definitely just
Mm.
more leadership. Like I just find myself, I always was interested in kind of like helping people, and like I do mentoring and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But just like bringing like this stuff to family and friends, and just trying to be like that positive light, and just helping people out with their struggles, and just education, whatever it is, on all these things. So I would say definitely just like growing into more of a leader, and just getting much more confident in myself and my own abilities, and it's definitely translated to just business success and just my whole life, really.
That's awesome. That is so cool. Yeah, how have you seen it like affect how you operate like differently in business now compared to then?
Yeah, it definitely, I mean, I guess like I said, how I was inconsistent with working out. It's just like everything was pretty inconsistent. It's like I'd have really good streaks and then it would get rough and like would just kind of crumble under, the pressure. Whereas now it's like I have these default minimums, I guess. It's like every day, like no matter how I feel, like I'm grinding, I'm
Mm.
doing the things I need to make me feel better to like do the work. So yeah, definitely. It's just helped me, I think, with my consistency all around. I think there's definitely something. I mean, so many people talk about like challenging yourself physically, having the discipline there, like definitely translates to, other aspects of your life as well.
That is so awesome. That's so awesome. It's because it seems like it's not just something you did as like, okay, this is a weight loss, it's one area of life. It's almost like a person you became that starts to affect every other area of life.
Yeah, for sure.
That is awesome. Heck yeah. Cool. So I guess when you look into, future, right? And we talked about like future goals as well a little bit before this call and all these great things that are coming up in life. But how do you expect like the impact that this had on you to affect you, for the rest of your life looking forward?
Yeah, I think I'll definitely just be much healthier, much fitter mentally, physically, and just more of a leader that can kind of guide, the people around me, my family, future wife and kids, to just put them on the war path too,
Mm.
just being more disciplined when it comes to, not only diet and exercise, but just all around, just the whole, all the aspect of life.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I think that it's so incredible because this is almost like a gift that you're giving to those people versus just something you did for yourself, back in 2022. Um,
Yeah, and definitely like I guess also just breaking a lot of generational curses. Like again, just
mm,
coming from a family that's Italian, a lot of people have struggled with weight,
mhm,
and like I said, I just never grew up with like a model to follow of like a disciplined exercise
mm.
every day, eating right type situation. So yeah, like definitely breaking a lot of generational curses when it comes to like obesity and disease and
Wow.
all that stuff.
Yeah, how has it felt like spiritually to see yourself changing a pattern that your family struggled with?
Yeah, it feels great. Definitely just I think living more in alignment to what God wants and just
Mm.
treating your body as this temple, just much healthier all around. And by taking better care of yourself, you're just better equipped to take care of those around you and just get the most out of life, just be more productive.
Mm. Yeah, that's awesome, dude. That is so awesome. And I feel like that's what this is all about, really, at the end of the day. Like, I think it's cool how in this conversation, I think we've mentioned the actual weight that was lost maybe one time, and then everything else that really matters has been kind of the focus. But dude, I appreciate you taking the time for this, and honestly, I appreciate you just putting in the work and applying yourself through the process. Because it's obviously paid off, long term, which is great, man. And now, this can inspire others. But yeah, if somebody's kind of listening to the story and resonating with where you're at, and they're skeptical about like the long-term impact and how this actually sticks. Like, what would you say to them for why they should start right now?
Hmm. Yeah, I think that we're living in a time where if you can just be 1% better than mediocrity, like mediocrity has become the norm.
Mm,
If you just do a little bit more, like it kind of shoots you to the top 1% of, performers, productivity, everything. And I think some people out there, fewer each year here, like have the discipline to like get it done themselves, or whether they grew up, they were athletes, they had the right influences and whatnot. But most people and more people, they need help. Like I needed help. I didn't have the knowledge. You can't really play the game if you don't even know the scoreboard like you're playing on. Um, so I would say like, if you've tried things and you're just not happy with where you're at, you're not getting the results, then it's money well spent. Like you will save
mm,
yourself. Look at it as an investment. We love to talk about investing. It's like you put in this money now, you're going to save yourself hundreds of thousands of dollars in medical bills
Mm,
later on in life by just, being healthier and living longer. So yeah, it's like if you're not where you want to be, like there's a solution, it's like
mm.
you can have people to keep you accountable and kind of teach you what you're missing, and get you where you want to be. So definitely 100 times more valuable than whatever you spend on it.
Awesome, man. Dude, that's great to hear, bro. I appreciate it, man. And dude, thank you for doing this. Thank you for all your hard work.
Thank you, man. It all started with you, so I'm super appreciative of you guys.
Yeah, God bless, man.